In a world crying out for a top 10 show, John Roca and Matt Nost are here to bring you the top 10. Take it away, boys. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Topic Thunder. Yeah, welcome, everybody. You know what this is. This is you patrons, sending us topics, and Matt and I answering these questions and talking about them for about 20, 25, 30 minutes, depending on how we feel. So I've been enjoying these lately during the coronavirus, Matt. They seem to have gotten even more specific and extensive in their questions, and they've been fun to answer.
Yeah, and hopefully they're getting as much out of it as we are. And it's great because it's a wide diversity of stuff every week.
Yeah.
So send whatever you like. And those that are patrons, you know where you can find the email, but we can put another post up with the email and they get to send in the questions and we just answer whatever it is. Hey, talk about this or pick A or B, whatever the case is. So if you're a patron and you haven't taken advantage of that, just go over to patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. And you can find the email, and it's at the $5 and up level. Submit a question, and then we put the show out for everybody.
Yeah. So everybody who's listening to us, if you're not a patron, this is one of those perks that you get in the tier. Have you ever wanted to ask Matt and I a question? You can do so as a patron and get it answered on Topic Thunder. And it can be any question. We reserve the right, obviously, to answer things that are maybe too personal that we don't want to talk about. But for the most part, Matt and I are pretty wide open in the answering of these questions and topics. I think it's been the rare one that makes us not want to answer it. So anything you've wanted to ask us, if you join the Patreon, you can do so. What level do they have to be at? 5 or 10? Which level is it at?
$5 and up, and they can
$5 and up.
They can hit us up at that email address, and I say we jump right in. And would you like to go first this time?
Let's do it. Sure. Why not? This is Chris Lemke. I'm going to Lemke. His question is 2 sports questions for you guys. One may be already addressed, so feel free to skip it. But how are you guys enjoying The Last Dance so far? Good question. Matt, you and I, you came on Game Time for a couple of to talk about the first 2 episodes for about an hour with Adam Caparel. That was a lot of fun to talk with you about it. You're a Chicago Bulls fan. I'm a fan of this Bulls team. It's been fun to watch this documentary. And as Adam warned us, there hasn't been that much that was revelatory. There are some new things that have been revealed, but not that much. So how are you doing it 6 episodes in?
It's bittersweet because I get to relive my team at its apex, and then you think about all the iterations since then. But it's good. Yeah, there has not been one real bombshell or something that I didn't know. So far, all the information is, if you were paying attention at the time. Yeah. You might need reminders on specific things. Right. Yeah, that did happen, but there's by and large, nothing really. I did love the Jordan with once they show him on the iPad before the Isaiah, and he's like, I don't give a shit what he says. Just a full assessment. Like if public opinion has changed, now he's singing a different song. Yeah, it's out of key for me, so I don't care.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, man. I think that was. You talk about that Hall of Fame speech, but you can't deny my man still has the anger for Isaiah. There are just some people, and he respects Isaiah. And a lot of people said, actually, not a bombshell thing, but certainly a lot of people said afterwards that this is the first time they've heard Jordan give that kind of love to Isaiah, ranking him just below Magic in the history of point guards in the NBA. And that's the first time he's ever done that. So in that way, I guess Jordan has cooled just a little bit towards Isaiah, but for the most part, there's still that fire there and anger there towards Isaiah.
I took that to mean, and perhaps, I wasn't paying as fully attention as you, but that it was in the game at that time, Isaiah was the second best point guard.
Oh.
That's what, not of all time. During that era,
maybe you're right.
It was Magic and then Isaiah. And you're like, yeah, I would agree with that. Stockton was about the longevity, but it wasn't the spike apex that Isaiah had. And as others have pointed out, he sacrificed some of his stats. He easily could have been just a non-stop scorer if he wanted to, but to facilitate the team and get them going, he knew when to pull back and when to push.
Yeah. I think that's been one of the most interesting things to watch too, Matt, is like you have to kind of reassess Michael Jordan all over again. And it's been, obviously LeBron's they don't have a great relationship, but the situation with him and Kobe, that's something I didn't know about. Like I didn't know how tight
no one did.
They were. Right. Exactly. And you hear all the time, Kobe versus Jordan, who's blah, 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 blah. Or Kobe versus LeBron or LeBron versus Jordan, that kind of stuff you hear all the time. But I had no idea that Kobe and Jordan had this kind of a strong relationship. And the way Kobe spoke about Jordan, like with a level of respect and perspective that I think that's why a lot of us feel such tragedy about the death of Kobe, because he seemed to have turned that corner into his manhood, his second stage of manhood, where he was going to have more perspective. He was more relaxed, kind of what Jordan hasn't done. He was going to be like a little more mature about it and let go of the grudges, where Jordan still holds on to them because he needs them to exist. Kobe was kind of rounding into this kind of statesman of the game almost. I wouldn't have been surprised if down the road he could have ended up commissioner of the NBA. That was certainly possible. So to see this with them was really heartwarming to watch.
I would imagine his sights were set higher than commissioner of the league.
Good point.
So,
Senator Kobe Bryant, sure. My God.
Who knows at that point? Because I'm guessing in 10 years, whenever that full transition would be, where you would want that next step.
Yeah.
He's already won an Oscar. What the progression of the next 9 years, what else can he manage to accomplish?
Yeah.
Done his philanthropy. He had invested in a bunch of different businesses that were really, had returned his investment tenfold.
Yeah.
On a few different fronts. It just, whatever he seemed to touch was turning to gold. So yeah, it is. But when you see it now between the two of them, it makes all the sense in the world. Because it's the one person that you could tell that Kobe flat out respected.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you could see it like in the footage in Last Dance when, Jordan is at the All-Star game, everybody else is deferring to him when they show up in 98. Every single person realizes he is completely different.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I'm sure Jordan is seeing shades of himself in Kobe at that time when Jordan came into the league, at a young age, and what that perspective was like for him, what that experience was like for him, seeing Kobe kind of go through. He isn't overtly mean to Kobe. You can he ball busts him as like, he's going to want to do it one-on-one, that kid in LA, blah, blah, blah. But he's not being like snickering at him and undercutting him. And I think there was a level of respect Jordan had already kind of given the kid with the way he came into the league. Plus, people forget Kobe spoke 6 languages. He grew up in Europe. Like, this was not your normal young kid who comes into the NBA, straight out of high school. This was an educated, cultured kid.
Well, he came into the league thinking he was the best. And then he spent years proving that wasn't arrogance.
Right.
But it was at first. It's just like, you got a lot of balls, kid. You got a lot of balls. You do have a tremendous amount of talent, and you could flat out see it.
Yeah.
I love the best part of that, though, is Jordan was like, he's just going to keep shooting. He goes, I'm not passing you the ball unless you get a fucking rebound.
That's what he said. I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the old man.
That's the difference
about the game. Yeah.
But Kobe got to that, too, eventually.
Yeah.
Just like, meta, you are not shooting unless it's X, within a certain distance of the damn rim. And they'll prove you wrong like a three that wins him a championship.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's had that. To this day, the only grudge that I know of that he carried was with Smush Parker, of all people.
Of all people, Smush.
Smush just hated him.
That's LeBron and Delonte West. You're like, why? Why do you even care? He's such a gnat in your world. Why do you even care? But, a lot of these guys are built on looking for the grudges, looking for the disrespect or the slights to motivate them, and they don't forgive easily for sure, for the most part. Yeah, overall, I wouldn't say it's a great documentary because, once again, it's not revelatory, but it's been great to go down memory lane again with this team and go and jump in time. And I think the shoe stuff was revelatory. I almost texted you as I was watching it, like, you must have been like really enjoying that section of the documentary. I didn't know that he almost went with Adidas or wanted to go with Adidas, and Nike had to talk him into it. I forget Nike at the time.
Nike was nobody.
A running company. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
They were literally nobody.
Yeah.
I've read all about that and how his agent, what they did there presented him like a tennis player.
Yeah.
But it's atypical of the time. And then I was a kid, so I didn't know anything about it. And then I started looking back and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And you can find that information out there. Yeah. Nothing. It was all Converse, which is crazy to me because once I started playing, it was all Nike.
Oh my God, those Converse shoes are brutal on your feet, man.
I've never worn them.
Kobe has a thing where he talked about afterwards where he said, like, when Jordan wore his old, his first issues of the shoes, the Air Jordan 1s or whatever they're called, for that game against the Knicks, LA sports writer mentioned ESPN that like he had spoken to Kobe about it, whether Kobe was going to wear in his last season when he played Toronto again. It was on the 5-year anniversary or 4-year anniversary of the 81-point game. If he was going to wear the shoes he wore from the 81-point game, like Jordan did against the Knicks, and he said, "Are you crazy?" And he said Jordan didn't do that to be cool or retro. They were just about to reissue those shoes, so Jordan wore them to bring a highlight on them so he could make as much money. And then you're like, damn, that's Jordan in a nutshell.
So smart.
Always thinking ahead, the smart businessman. And Mike Francesa today or yesterday was talking, or early this morning, I think, and he was talking about his gambling. Because that's another thing that was highlighted here that was interesting to see, the gambling. And I loved his defense. Look, my wife's not destitute. We're not selling our house because of debts. It's just a hobby. And Francesa said, I was in gambling joints with Jordan. It is obscene the amounts of money he spent, but to him, that was just how he was built, and it was a hobby. And he turned down $1 million daily appearances for stuff, millions of dollars. I saw him turn it down because he doesn't need the money, and that's insane. So he gambled, yes, but he was never gambling to where he was bankrupt or anything like that.
Exactly. When you have a printed moneymaker in your own line of sneakers that is guaranteed to bring you in $100 million minimum a year, just you personally, $10 means nothing.
Right.
That's just from that. That's not even whatever his other interests are. But so what is 10 grand? I mean,
it's a drop in a bucket.
That check that got him in trouble and he had to go to court. The dude who was the embodiment of the word hustler. He just looked like a fucking hustler, and you're like, "I'll play for 10 grand a hole or whatever." What do you own? 57,000.
57,000, yeah.
57,000 in the early 90s. It's a decent chunk of change.
It's a chunk of change for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if that's pushing like 75 now.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And for us, that would be like, oh my God. For some people, it's an entire year's salary that he's betting on with this one dude on one thing. And the other guy, and this is the thing that I took away from is that Jordan's not a damn good gambler, to be honest with you, because like he owed the other dude $1.5 million, so much so that like the guy wrote a book about it. So Jordan wasn't really probably known for paying his bets, because I bet his anger and his pettiness about losing in those bets made him delay paying these people in that way as well. So I imagine that's part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. That dude seems slimy as shit.
Well, true. Very true. But then again, you lie down with dog, you get fleas.
Yeah. But what are there stubs that say he owes $1.5 million? Like, how do we?
Fair.
You can just say whatever you wanted to because it's all
true
transaction type of shit.
Yeah.
Counting of this whatsoever. So
yeah. Well, we got
what's the second part of Limp?
Yeah, we got 4 more episodes to go, so we'll see what happens. Secondly, what is on your sports bucket list? NBA Finals Game 7, Super Bowl. Personally, I've always wanted to go to a Wimbledon final, and I missed out on one of mine this year, seeing my LSU Tigers in a national championship game because I had to fly to Atlanta for work. Oh, that sucks. Thanks, and go Tigers, Geaux. Go Tigers. Wow. What about you? Do you have a bucket list?
I mean, specific event, sure, Game 7, but I think I'd like to see games in specific places rather.
Oh, okay.
Like see a huge game at Cameron Hall.
Okay. Oh, you mean Duke?
Yeah, it's so tiny.
Yeah.
And the amount of energy in that, and I'm not a Duke fan, so I just want to see a huge game, but that place, the energy looks absolutely incredible in that room.
It is.
Let's see where else. I mean, I tried to see a game at Wembley.
I could see that.
Yeah, but instead went to another game instead.
I remember that. Right. You had to kind of exchange the tickets.
After hassling them because they failed to deliver it, then said that the delivery couldn't be delivered and be like, really? Because the company that's only job in your country is doing shit like this said never sent it. And I believe them because they only do two things. So it's kind of hard to screw up literally two things. They accept packages and there's P.O. boxes.
Right.
That's all, I think there would be a magazine rack or something. But it's nothing. She's like, yeah, I think I'm going to go with this company.
I think for me, it would have to be seeing Liverpool at Anfield win the title. And look, with as cheap as things are right now, honestly, if I was well off, I probably could travel to England and just quarantine myself until they say they're bringing back the Premier League. I quarantine myself in a hotel and then just wait. And when they bring it back, get the tickets to watch these games and watch them win the title, hopefully at Anfield. That would have been that. I mean, if I had to spend the disposable income like Michael Jordan, I would absolutely do that because I could still do these shows from the hotel room. I could still function consistently from the hotel room. It just would have to be me waiting around and then them deciding if they're going to let people come to these games or not, because Germany's about to start up with the Bundesliga, and we'll see how that plays out to see how that affects the Premier League. But that would be it. See, to be in Anfield and watch Liverpool win a Premier League title, or to be at a Champions League final to see Liverpool win a Champions League, that would be great. Followed real closely by the Redskins, being in the stands to watch the Redskins win a Super Bowl again, because it's been 3 freaking decades. And win it again.
Any of my teams like that.
Yeah.
I would love to be there for. Doesn't matter.
Right.
But yeah, just trying to think of are there any other one-off type places this set of specific circumstances.
I'll throw WrestleMania in there. Just about any WrestleMania in a big.
But he asked for a sporting event. So.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
It's not a sport. It's not a sport. Is it athletic? Yes. It's very athletic. These guys are huge. Okay. Is it a sport? No, because there's no competition. So not that aspect. Jockeying, the politicizing behind the scenes to try and get your character to be the best. Yeah, sure. But is that a sport? Well, then I guess Congress is a fucking sport as well.
It feels like it sometimes.
Yes, it does, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Yeah. All right, we'll have to table that discussion. All right, what's our next thing, Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Lemke. This one's from Jonathan Caro.
Caro.
Hi, Matt and John. I hope all you are staying safe and sound where you live. I have a question, maybe a potential fun one. If you were a professor at university and were to teach a film class or film classes of any sort, history of a genre, a director, actor, what would it or they be? Thank you for taking my question and keep doing your thing and entertain everyone with your fun and awesome banter, Jonathan.
Nice question.
What would you teach?
Well, obviously I would teach Westerns, but specific director, I would teach Kurosawa. I think that would be Akira Kurosawa would be a fantastic director to kind of explore and explain and teach. Because as great as those films are revered by film critics and cinephiles, the regular person probably hasn't seen any of them, to be honest with you. And it would be nice to have a classroom full of people who've never seen any Kurosawa films and walk them through his filmography and his journey as a film director and his highs, extreme highs, and his almost suicidal low, and then his comeback. It would be incredible to walk people through that as a journey, as a lesson about a man's life and also a man's talent as a director and how it evolved. So that would be a really big thing for me personally. What about you?
I think I do like a hybridized. So take a movie, historical movie-ish, something like Gladiator, and then the movie's going on each week. Discuss. Okay, this is who Marcus Aurelius was.
Right.
The area. Here's the policies that he managed to do, and then whenever they interact with anybody else, pull it out and be like, here's the historical context. They had fun with it, and we talk about the film overall as it builds the choices they make, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then giving backstory of what they're basing it upon.
Right. Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Sounds interesting. Jonathan, thank you for the question. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. Lemke is the next one, but that's just a show idea.
Correct.
So Fred-tastic, is that our next one?
I believe so.
Okay. Fred-tastic 314. Let's see how much time. Okay. He says, hey, John and Matt, thanks for giving me this platform to make this request. Here goes. argue the benefits. Argue the benefits from having these two actors playing each of you in your life stories. Matt gets Paul Giamatti and John gets Luis Guzman. Ready, set, go. Thanks for taking my email, Fred C. Okay, Matt, can you argue for Paul Giamatti playing you in a film?
But
the top 10 movie?
The benefits from having, well, the thing is, Giamatti's got range.
That's for sure.
Yeah, we've seen him morph himself into all kinds of things.
Yeah.
To see him portray me, yes, because you would hope someone like that could get the complexity that we all feel we are inherently, and bring that nuance to the character. I think Giamatti would be, he'd do a great job.
Yeah. That's your answer. Oh, that's it. Oh my God. Okay. I thought you were
going to go back and forth. You really that's the opening statement.
All right. Fair. I respect that. Luis Guzman, first of all, that would be weird because Luis is darker than I am, so that'd be a little bit interesting.
Oh, like Giamatti and I are fucking clones.
Same color.
You're at least closer to Guzman.
Same color.
You're at least closer to, you guys have it's the same kind of presence on some level on screen.
Please. I have a stronger presence than that guy. But I respect Luis Guzman and what he's done. I think he'd be great because he certainly would get the humor. He certainly would get the moments where I feel like I'm over my head in situations sometimes. But he can also play a pretty ruthless villain. We've seen him play those kinds of characters before, so he could capture that part of me for sure. I think he'd be a very interesting choice to play me, and I'd like to see him, kind of do my life. It'd be like watching an actor play a part that you've seen on stage numerous times, but you want to see what that actor can do with it. So I think that would be the interest for me to see Luis Guzman doing it. It's an interesting choice.
It is an interesting choice. If nothing else than the voice, because Luis kind of only does Luis.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like Sean Connery only does Sean Connery. Yeah.
Whereas Giamatti will morph his voice and try and replicate, like go watch American Splendor and then Billions this season. Completely different voice characterizations to who he's trying to get across with this character. Who would your ideal be? You can choose anybody. Be like, you know what? Dream casting. This is who I want.
I think it would be Charlie Sheen circa 1988 or 1990. That would be my choice.
Major League era.
Yeah, I was just watching Major League actually today again for an upcoming Cinephiles. And I just was like, God, that guy, there was a time when that guy was fucking cool, man. And it's good. It's nice to revisit that because I don't dig Platoon Charlie Sheen. I like late 80s, early 90s Charlie Sheen. That's my Charlie Sheen. And I think him doing me, and at times, and I've been confused for him when I was younger a couple of times, or people said I look like him. So I would like to see that Charlie Sheen play me. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, there was it's him when he's in Ferris Bueller as the punk kid.
That's great too. Yeah,
it is. It's a great little scene.
Yep.
I know that was a very small window for Mr. Sheen before he went off the rails.
Yeah, man, it's a shame, dude. Because
he's made some other stuff that I like.
Damn good, dude. Work. Yeah, Man at Work.
Him and his brother. It's just a fun film.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Dean Cameron, the '80s actor who's in Summer School.
Yeah, that guy. Yes. Yeah.
And then, son of a gun.
Isn't Ernie Hudson in that one?
No. It's the best voice in the biz. He was in They Live. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, Keith David.
Thank you. I knew it was something very unique to him.
Right.
2 first names.
What about you? Who would play you, man?
Well, ideally, dude, Brad Pitt. Why not? George Clooney. Swing for the fences. I'd be closer. Pitt's way too handsome. I'm not saying I'm close to Clooney.
Look, I think Clooney plays me and Brad Pitt plays you. I'm down with it. I like that idea. Clooney's older than Brad Pitt. I'm older than you. I think it totally works. I think it absolutely works.
Dude, you're Charlie Sheen. What are you talking about? So Charlie Sheen and Brad Pitt. And I don't care. You can throw a dart at whatever era of Brad Pitt you want. I'm fine with all. Legitimately fine. Boom, Legends of the Fall. Do you see that hair? It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, yes.
Boom, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, no problem, dude. Still amazing six-pack.
He does. He looks good in that film.
He's aged into himself quite handsomely as only Brad Pitt could. Guys,
I'll take old Benjamin Button Brad Pitt as Matt Nost. I'll take that. I like that idea. Speaking of Legends of the Fall, man, I just saw there's a British show coming out with Julia Ormond, I think on Acorn or BritBox, and she's with a younger guy, and it's causing trouble in her family. And I was like, is she at that age? And I looked at her, I was like, holy, she's 60. She's 60. It's kind of crazy in my head. She's to me, I only think she's a few years older than she was in Legends of the Fall. But you forget how old that film is, like how long ago that film is. And she was in her mid-30s when she made it. So you're just like, oh, my God, wow, she's 60. Where is the time gone? So it was just kind of mind-blowing, dude. So it looks good, though. It looks good. All right, we're at the 25-minute mark. Should we wrap it up here, or do you want to do one more?
Let's go ahead and wrap it up here.
Okay.
And, because once a week, you guys, we hope you enjoyed it. We convinced about everything you sent. We didn't really hold back.
That's right.
Thank you to everybody that supports us over at patreon.com/the top 10. And you can find the email address there. So just head over there if you're at the $5 tier and up. Join the discussion, participate in the show. We love it each and every week. You can find me anywhere at Matt Nost. And that is
Yeah, everything Matt said. Come aboard the Patreon. This is the kind of stuff you can enjoy interacting with us on, and these sending in these questions and these emails. It's a lot of fun for us to answer them. You can follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And please come on over to the Outlaw Nation YouTube channel and our YouTube channel. Find our YouTube channel as well. Go and subscribe to that. Maybe we can down the road monetize that channel as well. So certainly the fans who followed us for so many years can swing on over there, hit that subscribe, because we do still record these, as you can tell, on camera. So you can watch us on camera on the YouTube channel. So go over there and subscribe.
This video is only for the patrons. So our regular show plus relist you can see over on the YouTube channel.
There you go. Good point.
You cannot. You can only listen to it because this was a Patreon-only show, but then COVID hit the world.
Jump on over. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we will talk to you next time on another episode of Topic Thunder.